Welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves... Wait, hold on. Kennedy Saves the World. There we are, nice and bouncy. How are you? I'm great, thanks for asking. I'm super, thanks for asking. So, what are we going to do about their problems in Canada? Because they ultimately will become our problems here. As you may or may not know, I have a new piece in the Daily Mail about Kayla Lemieux. Who is that? Who is Lemieux? She is that creepy, predatory, fetishist shop teacher in Canada who wears the gigantic beach ball fake boobs and pretends they're real. And she is a high school shop teacher. She was relieved of duty from one of her jobs for lying about, she said she had a condition, a medical condition that caused her breasts to grow extremely large, and that she had a verbal diagnosis from her doctor about the condition, which, you know, seems a little flimsy. But unfortunately for Kayla, she has become a distraction to any class she teaches in because she insists on wearing in front of adolescent students these giant fake boobs with really thin clothing so you can clearly see her areolas. You know, this is not someone who's got a glandular issue or a metabolic challenge. This is someone who has a sexual fetish, who is trying to clearly turn on and arouse adolescent boys and booby shame adolescent girls, and is doing it in such a way that is so monstrous and disgusting. And I cannot believe that it is an ongoing story, but it is because people in Canada, administrators, are so irrational in the name of inclusivity. So she was fired from one school only to be hired at another, Nora Florence Henderson Secondary School in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, where now, because she enrages people because they know that she is a fraud. They know she doesn't represent the trans community. She doesn't claim to be transgendered. You know, she appears to be a biological male. She claims that she is intersex and has both male and female genitalia. I don't want to know. I don't want to see it. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to examine her. But I do think it's not only the distraction, and kids, by the way, if they snap a photo of Miss Lemieux, and if they're caught doing so, they will be suspended from school. So there will be disciplinary action. Whereas in any other aspect of life, anywhere in the world, anywhere in real life, if you see something absolutely bat poop crazy, you are supposed to document it. You are supposed to take a picture so you can either show the authorities or show your friends or post it on social media that this is the circus freak that you have been strapped with. Now, my problem with Kayla, who claims to not be a transgender person, which is fine, is that she's setting trans people back. And she's the kind of person who invites such outrage and so little curiosity that people assume that every trans person is a predatory fetishist like her and means to do harm to children. That is wrong. That is not the case with a vast majority of people who happen to be trans. She does not speak for them, but unfortunately for people in whom she inspires rage, they choose to plaster her as the poster child for transgenderism all over the world. And that is not the case. It is a misrepresentation. That this is also not someone who suffers from an imaginary victimhood. This is someone who has not only a screw loose, but who wants to, has no problem if harm is done to children, and not just by the very product of her being in the classroom, which is a distraction. That's not harm. And there's a difference here between harm and distraction. You know, her bouncing around with her circus titties, it's a stupid distraction and it's needless. And also, if those things are real and she was working a circular saw and the manner that she is and had a nip slip, she'd bleed to death and it would be bodily injury and a Texas Chainsaw Massacre Canada variety. But that's not it. It's not the distraction. It's the fact that the people who are so enraged by her, who want to make her the transgender poster child, they are calling in bomb threats. She inspires such hate and such rage that these schools, if there's a bomb threat, they have to be locked down. That means there's no instruction for the day. It also means with the new school that she's at, they have to have intercoms. And, parents are sending the memo that the nutless president sent, or the principal sent to all the parents. They are forwarding that to media outlets who are publishing it, going, look at this absurdity. That is not where we should be in the world. That is not fairness. That is not inclusivity. It is some form of tyranny that I have dubbed toxic tolerance. And it's bad for gay people. It's bad for transgender people. It's bad for children. It's irrational. It's absurd. And it shouldn't be indulged. But that is what is happening in progressive Canada. It's also what happens here in these progressive United States. And I don't think it's a bad thing for parents to seek a little bit of rationality. Because here in these United States, our kids were locked out of schools. They suffered learning loss and mental health issues. This person clearly has a mental health issue. I thought Canada had incredible socialized medicine, universal health care that was the greatest system in the world. Yet a wingnut like this frolics around children, and no one thinks that there should be some sort of a psychological intervention. Shame on you, fake do-gooders in Canada. The great bad North jerks. Anyone who continues to hire this person is themselves an irrational boob. And you all need to be taken out of the educational ecosystem. So children there, children here can learn in peace. That is not too much to ask. But personally, I would like to thank Kayla Lemieux because you have provided a great deal of content for me. If you stepped foot in my child's school, yeah, we'd have a very, very different, very loud conversation that I'm sure parents in Canada, maybe they're polite, but I'm sure they've tried to have. So now they're going through the media. They have no other recourse. Don't worry. I'm always here to save you from fake giant circus titties. This has been Kennedy Saves the World. I'm Kennedy. Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.
Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.